There is a kind of tiredness that comes not from doing too much, but from holding too much. You might feel it now. A heaviness in the chest, a tightness behind the eyes. The mind moving from one thing to another, never quite landing, never quite letting go. You want to rest, but something in you will not release its grip. This holding is not always obvious. Sometimes it looks like planning. Sometimes it looks like caring. You hold the memory of what someone said 3 days ago, turning it over, examining it. You hold tomorrow's conversation, rehearsing your words. You hold the idea of who you should be by now, measuring yourself against it in the quiet moments. And beneath all of this, a question you may not have spoken aloud: if I let go, what will be left? The breath is still moving, in and out. It has not stopped to wait for permission. There is a river that runs near the place where the Buddha taught. Not a dramatic river, not grand, just water moving over stones, carrying leaves and small branches, carrying whatever falls into it. The river does not ask what it should keep and what it should release. It simply moves. What belongs to the current continues. What catches on a rock stays until the water shifts it free. Nothing is held forever. Nothing is abandoned carelessly. You can feel your own breath like this, not forcing it, not controlling it, just noticing that it rises, fills, and falls away. Each breath complete in itself. And when the next breath comes, it is not the same breath. The body knows how to let the old air go, but the mind does not trust this. The mind believes that letting go means losing, that if you stop replaying that conversation, you will forget something important, that if you stop bracing for disappointment, you will be caught unprepared, that if you soften your grip on how things should be, everything will slip into chaos. And so you hold until your hands ache. You hold until the holding itself becomes the problem. What if letting go is not the same as losing? This is not a trick of language. This is an invitation to look closely. When you hold your breath, you cannot breathe. When you clench your hand, you cannot feel what you are touching. The holding creates the very separation it fears. You think you are protecting what matters, but you are only protecting the tension. Right now, you can hear sounds around you. Maybe distant traffic, maybe the hum of a room, maybe silence that is not quite silent. You are not holding these sounds. They arise and they pass. You do not lose them by letting them move through your awareness. They come, they go, and your hearing remains. The river continues. It does not become less by releasing what it carries. It becomes more itself, clear, responsive, alive to what is. The Buddha spoke often about clinging. This is the word he used. Not holding, but clinging. There is a difference. You can hold a child's hand to guide them across the street. That is care. But if you grip so tightly that your hand cramps and the child cannot move freely, that is clinging. Clinging is holding past fear, holding past the belief that your grip is what keeps things safe. You might notice this in the body right now, the shoulders, the jaw, the belly. Is there a place where you are gripping without knowing it? Not because something requires it, but because the body has learned to brace itself. You can soften there, just a little, just enough to feel the difference between tension and aliveness. This does not mean you stop caring. It does not mean you become passive or indifferent. The river is not indifferent, it is utterly responsive. It moves around the rock, it carries the leaf, it reflects the sky. But it does not clutch at any of it. What matters does not need to be clutched. What matters moves with you when you stop forcing it to stay still. You can return to the breath here, not as a technique, not as a fix, just as a place to notice what letting go actually feels like. The inhale comes, you do not hold it, you release it. And in that release there is no loss, there is space, there is the next breath. The body has been teaching you this since before you were born, so we begin here, with the breath, with the body, with the simple question, What if you could care deeply without gripping tightly? What if the things that matter most are not the things you hold, but the things you allow to move freely in your life, like water, like air, like light? We will sit with this. We will look at what the mind holds and why. We will practice the difference between care and clinging. Not to become better at letting go, but to see clearly what letting go actually is. The river is still moving. There is something in you right now that you are holding very tightly. It might be a plan for tomorrow. It might be a conversation from yesterday. It might be the way you think someone should behave, or the way you think you should feel. Whatever it is, notice how your mind returns to it. Notice the small contraction that happens each time. We hold things because we are afraid. We think that if we let go, we will lose something important. The plan will fall apart. The person will slip away. The feeling will never return. So we grip harder. But there is an old observation, simple and direct. Holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. This is not about anger alone. It is about any kind of gripping. When you clench around a thought, a desire, a fear, you feel the heat of it. The tension lives in your body. Your jaw tightens. Your breath shortens. Your chest becomes a closed fist. The cold burns you first. Think of water cupped in your palm. If you hold your hand gently, the water rests there. You can carry it. You can offer it. But if you clench your fingers, trying to keep it safe, the water spills through the cracks. The tighter you squeeze, the faster it runs. This is the nature of craving. Craving is not just wanting. It is wanting with a grip. It is the belief that if you hold tightly enough, you can make something stay. You can make it yours. You can control it. But experience does not work that way. Breath comes and goes. Thoughts arise and dissolve. People enter your life and leave. Even joy, when it appears, will not remain in the same shape. If you try to freeze it, you lose the aliveness of it. You are left holding an image, not the thing itself. So what does it mean to let go without losing what matters? It means learning the difference between holding and gripping. Holding is open. Gripping is closed. Holding allows movement. Gripping demands stillness. You can hold someone dear without clenching around them. You can care deeply without insisting they stay exactly as they are. This is not indifference. This is not coldness. This is presence without possession. Right now, bring your attention to your hands. Notice if they are tense. Notice if your fingers are curled. You do not need to change anything. Just feel the quality of the holding. Now bring your attention to your mind. Notice one thing you are gripping today. It might be a thought about how something should have gone. It might be a plan you are repeating over and over. It might be a feeling you are trying to keep or a feeling you are trying to push away. Do not try to let go yet. Just notice the grip itself. Where do you feel it? Is it in your chest, your throat, your belly? Is there a tightness in your breath? This is the practice, not forcing release, not shaming yourself for holding on, just becoming aware of the texture of gripping. When you see it clearly, something begins to shift on its own. The fingers loosen slightly, not because you commanded them to, but because you saw that the grip was causing pain. The coal is hot. You do not need a teaching to tell you this. You feel it. And when you feel it, the hand opens, not all at once. Not forever, but for a moment. And in that moment there is relief. The water in your palm settles, your breath deepens. The thing you were holding is still there, but it is no longer burning you. This is enough. You do not need to master letting go. You do not need to release everything at once. You only need to notice one grip, one clench, one moment of heat. And then, if you are ready, you can feel what it is like to hold something gently, to care without clenching, to want without demanding, to be present without possession. The difference is small, but you can feel it. There is a kind of love that tightens around what it cherishes. You want someone to be well, so you hold their choices in your mind. You rehearse what they should do. You feel their missteps in your own chest. This is not cruelty. This is care that has forgotten how to breathe. We tell ourselves that letting go means turning away, that if we stop gripping, we stop loving. That release is the same as rejection. So we hold on. We clench around the people we love, around the outcomes we want, around the version of the world we believe will keep us safe. But the river does not cling to the stones, yet it shapes them over time. This is not a command to stop caring. It is an observation. Water moves past rock without grasping. It does not try to carry the stone downstream. It does not argue with the stone's presence. It flows around, over, against. And in that patient contact, something changes. The stone becomes smooth. The river remembers its shape. You can feel this in your own life. Think of someone you love, not in the abstract, but right now. Picture their face. Notice what arises. There may be warmth. There may also be a small knot of worry, a wish that they would choose differently, a fear that they will suffer in ways you cannot prevent. This is where the confusion lives. You believe that if you stop trying to steer their path, you have abandoned them. But steering is not the same as caring. Controlling is not the same as connection. The river does not control the stone. It meets it, it touches it, it moves on. You can do this too. You can love someone and let them walk their own road. You can wish them well without writing the script. You can feel tenderness without tightening your hands. This is not easy. The mind wants to solve. It wants to protect. It scans for danger and builds plans. This is what minds do. But you are not only your mind, you are also the awareness that notices the mind at work. Sit quietly for a moment, bring that person to mind again. Notice the impulse to fix, to guide, to worry. Do not push it away. Just see it. This is the current of care. It is real. It is not wrong. Now notice the space around that impulse. The breath moving in and out, the body sitting or standing. The fact that you are here and they are there, and both of you are alive in this moment. You do not need to do anything with this noticing. Just let it be. The river shapes the stone not by force, but by presence. It returns, it touches. It does not insist. Over time, the stone changes, not because the river demanded it, because contact, repeated with patience, is a kind of transformation. You can be present without being invasive. You can offer without imposing. You can hold someone in your heart without holding them in place. This is letting go, not as abandonment, not as coldness, but as trust. Trust that they have their own current. Trust that your care does not require your control. Trust that love can be spacious. When you stop confusing release with rejection, something softens. The tightness in your chest eases. You can still hope for their happiness. You can still offer what you have to give. But you are no longer carrying their life as if it were yours to manage. The river moves. The stone remains. Both are exactly as they are. And in that meeting, without clinging, there is shape and change and something that endures. There is a strange loyalty we give to what hurts us, not because we enjoy the pain, but because we know it. We know the shape of it. We know how it sits in the chest, how it tightens the jaw, how it colors the morning before we've even opened our eyes. And in that knowing, there is a kind of comfort. Not peace, but predictability. The ache is familiar. The open space beyond it is not. This is one of the quieter truths the Buddha spoke about. We cling not only to pleasure, but to suffering itself. We hold on to what weighs us down, because letting go means stepping into something we cannot map in advance. The unknown feels more dangerous than the known pain. So we carry what we've always carried, even when the season has changed. Imagine wearing a heavy coat in summer, thick wool, lined and buttoned. You feel the heat gathering under the fabric, your shoulders ache, sweat collects at your neck, but you keep the coat on. You've worn it through so many winters. It protected you once, it kept you warm when you needed warmth. And now, even though the air is mild, even though your body is asking you to let it go, you hesitate. What if you need it again? What if the cold returns? What if, without it, you are too exposed? This is not foolishness. This is how the mind protects itself. It remembers threat. It remembers cold. And it does not easily trust that the season has shifted. But you can begin to notice. You can feel the weight of the coat without immediately deciding what to do about it. You can sense the heat, the tightness across your back, the way your breath is just a little more shallow than it needs to be. You don't have to throw the coat off. You don't have to make a declaration. You only have to notice that you are wearing it. And that noticing is enough to begin. There is a burden you carry that is like this. Not the grief that is still alive, not the responsibility that is truly yours, but something else, something you picked up long ago and never set down. A way of thinking about yourself, a story you repeat, a tension you hold in your body as though it were a kind of armor. It made sense once. It served a purpose. But the conditions have changed and the burden remains. You might not even see it clearly yet. That's all right. The practice is not to hunt it down. The practice is to feel what you are carrying. To bring attention to the body, to the breath, to the quiet hum of the mind, and to ask, very gently, what am I holding that I no longer need to hold? Sit for a moment. Let your breath settle. Feel the weight of your body where it meets the chair, the floor, the bed. Notice if there is tightness somewhere, the shoulders, the belly, the throat. Don't try to release it, just feel it. Let it be exactly as it is. Now bring to mind something you worry about often, not the largest fear, not the deepest wound, just something small and recurring. A habit of thought, a way you brace yourself. A story you tell about who you are or what you deserve or what will happen if you stop being vigilant. Feel where that thought lives in your body. Does it tighten your chest? Does it pull your shoulders forward? Does it make your breath shallow? This is the coat. This is the weight. And you have been wearing it so long you almost forgot it was there. You don't have to take it off right now. You don't have to solve anything. You only have to recognize it. To name it quietly, without judgment. This is something I carry. This is a burden I know. And I am wearing it even though the season has changed. That recognition is not small. It is the beginning of letting go. Not by force, not by shame, but by seeing clearly what you've been holding and feeling just for a moment, the possibility that you could set it down. We hold on to many things. Some of them feed us, some of them simply weigh on our hands, and most of the time we cannot tell the difference. You might notice this when you think about letting go. The mind tightens. It says, if I release this, I will lose something essential. If I stop doing this, caring about this, holding this close, I will be less than I am now. The fear is real. But the fear does not always see clearly. There is a teaching that comes from the Mahayana tradition. It is quiet, and it asks nothing of you except to look. The tree does not mourn its fallen leaves. It trusts its roots. In autumn, the tree releases what it carried all summer. The leaves turn color and fall. The branches become bare, and yet the tree does not diminish. It does not lose itself. It knows what sustains it. The roots go deep into the earth. They draw water and minerals. They anchored the tree through wind and cold. The leaves were beautiful. They served their purpose. But they were never the life of the tree. You can feel this if you sit with it. Not as an idea, but as a fact of nature. The tree lets go because it knows what remains. It does not cling to what passes. It does not confuse the temporary with the essential. Now bring this closer. Think of your own life. Think of the things you carry. The habits, the roles, the relationships, the possessions, the identities. Some of them nourish you. Some of them simply pass through. And some of them, if you are honest, have already begun to fall away. The question is not whether to let go. Impermanence does not ask permission. Everything that arises will change. Everything that comes will go. The question is whether you can see what sustains you while the leaves are falling. This is not about loss. It is about clarity. You might try something small. Sit quietly for a moment. Bring to mind 3 things in your life. They can be anything. A relationship, a project, a way you spend your time, a belief about yourself, a possession you return to again and again. Now ask without judgment which of these are roots and which are leaves. A root is what nourishes. It draws life from something deeper than preference or habit. It connects you to what is real. It does not need to be seen. It does not need to be praised. It simply sustains. A leaf is what passes through. It may be beautiful. It may serve a season. But it is not the source. It comes and it goes. And when it falls, the tree remains. You do not need to force an answer. Just notice what arises. Notice if there is clinging. Notice if there is fear. Notice if something in you already knows. Sometimes we discover that what we thought was essential was only familiar. We held it close because we always have. We defended it because we could not imagine ourselves without it. But when we look directly, we see it was never feeding us. It was simply there. And sometimes we discover the opposite. We see that what sustains us has been quiet all along. It did not demand attention. It did not need to be proven. It was there beneath everything, like roots beneath the ground. This is not about letting go of everything. It is about knowing what you are made of. It is about trusting what remains when the season changes. The tree does not decide which leaves to release. It does not negotiate with autumn. It simply stops sending energy to what no longer serves. And the leaves fall. And the tree stands. You can do this too. Not all at once, not with force, but with attention, with honesty, with the quiet recognition that some things nourish and some things only occupy your hands. When you know the difference, letting go is not loss. It is clarity. It is the tree in winter, bare and alive, trusting its roots. We collect things, not just objects, though those too. We collect plans and worries, old conversations that loop in the mind, ideas about who we should be. We fill the inner space the way we fill a closet, pushing things in until the door barely closes. And then we wonder why nothing new can enter, why we feel stuck, why the same thoughts arrive each morning, like unwelcome guests who never leave. There is an old teaching in Zen. The cup must be emptied before it can receive new tea. It sounds simple, almost obvious, but notice what happens when you try to pour fresh water into a glass that is already full. It spills over. It cannot enter. The glass is doing nothing wrong. It is simply occupied. Your mind is like this, not broken, not failing, just full. Think of an overstuffed closet. You open the door and things tumble out. You want to put something new inside, something you actually need, but there is no room. The space is claimed by clothes you have not worn in years, by boxes you meant to sort through, by things you kept because letting go felt too hard. The closet is not too small. It is simply holding what no longer serves. You do not need a bigger closet. You need space. This is not about throwing everything away. It is not about becoming empty in the sense of hollow or barren. It is about making room, about noticing what you are holding and asking quietly if it still belongs. Some of what we carry is necessary. Some of it is just habit. The practice is small. You do not need to clear everything at once. You do not need to sit for an hour or achieve some special state. You need 5 minutes. That is all. 5 minutes where you do not fill the silence. Find a place to sit. It does not have to be formal. A chair is fine. The floor, if that feels right. Let your body settle. Feel the weight of yourself against the surface beneath you. Notice your breath without changing it. Just notice. And then do nothing. This is harder than it sounds. The mind will want to fill the space. It will offer you thoughts like a helpful assistant, a memory, a plan, a worry about whether you are doing this correctly. Let them come. Do not push them away. But do not follow them either. Let them arrive like clouds and let them pass. You are not trying to stop thinking. You are trying to stop filling. There is a difference. When you fill the silence, you are reaching for something to hold. A thought, a sound, a distraction. When you let the silence be, you are simply here. The silence is not empty. It is full of presence, full of breath, full of the small sounds around you, the feeling of air on your skin, the quiet hum of being alive. 5 minutes. That is the practice. Sit without filling the space, without reaching for your phone or making a list or solving a problem, without even trying to feel calm. Just sit. Just be here. At first it may feel uncomfortable. The mind does not like space. It feels like something is missing, like you should be doing something. This is normal. This is the mind recognizing that the closet door is open and things might shift. Let the discomfort be there. It will not harm you. You are not trying to empty yourself of everything. You are trying to taste what it feels like when there is room, when the cup is not already full, when the closet has space for something new to enter. What wants to arrive cannot come if there is no room for it. Insight does not shout over noise. Clarity does not force its way past clutter. They wait. They arrive when there is space. So you sit, you breathe, you let the silence be what it is. 5 minutes. No goal, no achievement, just the practice of not filling. And in that small gap, something shifts. Not always, not dramatically. But sometimes, in the space you have made, you notice something. A breath that feels deeper. A thought that passes without pulling you along. A moment where you are simply here, not holding, not grasping, just present. That is enough. That is the taste of spaciousness. And once you have tasted it, you know it is possible. You know the cup can be emptied. You know the closet can have room. You know you do not have to carry everything all the time. The space is already here. You're just learning to let it be. There is a way we hold the people we love that feels like care, but tightens into something else. You notice it in small moments. The worry when they don't text back. The quiet disappointment when they choose differently than you hoped. The fear that rises when you sense them changing, growing in directions you didn't anticipate. This is not wrong. It is human. But underneath it, there is often a confusion. We believe that loving someone means keeping them close in a particular way. That connection requires control. That if we let go, even slightly, we will lose what matters most. The Buddha spoke about this with great tenderness. You can love someone deeply and still allow them to be free. This is the nature of true compassion. Not the compassion that rescues or manages or shapes. The compassion that meets another person exactly as they are without needing them to be different. Think of a bird that visits your window each morning. You can place seed on the sill. You can notice its colors, the way it tilts its head, the small sounds it makes. You can feel genuine warmth when it arrives. But the moment you try to build a cage, something essential is lost. The bird becomes a possession. The relationship becomes about your need, not about the simple meeting that was happening before. This is what happens in love when we confuse connection with possession. We start to hold too tightly. We want the person to stay the same, to need us in specific ways, to reflect back to us that we are necessary. And in that holding, the spaciousness drains away. What was once fluid becomes fixed. What was once mutual becomes one-sided. You can feel this in your body. There is a difference between the openness of genuine affection and the contraction of clinging. One feels like breath moving freely. The other feels like holding your breath, waiting, bracing against loss. The practice here is very simple, though not always easy. Choose one relationship that matters to you. It might be a partner, a child, a friend, a parent. Just one. And begin to notice, with gentleness, where you try to hold versus where you simply meet. Holding looks like wanting them to text first, needing them to agree with you, feeling anxious when they seem distant, imagining worst-case scenarios when they make choices you wouldn't make. It's the subtle ways you try to secure the relationship to make it solid and permanent and predictable. Meeting looks different. It's the moment you listen without preparing your response, the breath you take before reacting to something they said, the willingness to let them have a bad day without making it about you, the quiet allowing when they need space or silence or a choice that doesn't include you. You don't have to fix anything, you don't have to stop caring, you're simply noticing the difference. And in that noticing, something begins to shift. You start to see that the bird doesn't love you less because it flies away, that your child doesn't need you less because they grow, that your partner doesn't diminish the relationship by having a self that exists beyond it. Compassion in this light is not soft indulgence, it's the strength to let another person be whole. To love them not because they complete you, but because they are here, alive, unfolding in their own way. And you are here too. And for this moment, your paths are crossing. There is so much space in this. Space for them to be uncertain. Space for you to not know. Space for the relationship to change shape without breaking. When you stop trying to hold the form of love in place, you discover that love itself is more spacious than you imagined. It doesn't require the cage. It never did. You wake up in the morning and before your feet touch the floor, there is a voice. It tells you who you were yesterday. It reminds you what you said, what you failed to do, what someone else might still be thinking about you. The voice is fast. It knows your name, your history, the shape of your regrets. And because it speaks in the first person, you believe it is you. This is the problem. Not that the voice exists, but that we mistake it for the one who listens. There is a teaching that comes from the early tradition. It says, you are not your past, nor your future. You are the awareness that watches both arise and fade. This is not philosophy. It is an invitation to look directly at what is happening right now. Sit quietly for a moment. Notice that thoughts appear. They come with words, images, feelings. Some are about yesterday. Some are about an hour from now. They arrive uninvited, and they leave the same way. You do not make them come. You do not make them go. They simply move through. Now notice this. Something is watching them move. That watching is not a thought. It does not have a story. It does not need one. It is simply here, steady and open, like a movie screen. The screen holds every image, a face, a landscape, a memory, a fear. The images flicker and change. Bright ones, dark ones, still ones, violent ones. But the screen itself is untouched. It does not become the hero or the villain. It does not carry the plot forward. It is only the space in which the movie plays. You are like this. Every story you tell about yourself is an image on the screen. I am someone who always fails. I am someone who tries hard. I am someone people misunderstand. These are not false. They are just not final. They appear, they shimmer, they fade. The awareness that sees them does not fade. This does not mean your life does not matter. It means your life is not a fixed thing. You are not carved in stone by what happened 5 years ago or 5 minutes ago. The stories are real in their moment, but they are not the whole truth. Beneath them is something quieter, something that does not need to be defended or improved. You can test this. Sit down, let your body settle. Bring your attention to your breath just for a few moments. Then ask softly, who am I when I am not telling myself a story? Do not answer with words. Let the question sit. Let it open a small gap in the usual noise. In that gap, notice what remains. Not a blank, not a void, just aware presence. Just this. You may feel nothing dramatic. That is fine. You may notice the urge to fill the silence with an answer, a memory, a plan. That is fine too. The practice is not to stop the stories. It is to stop mistaking them for the one who listens. The screen does not reject the movie. It simply does not cling to it. When the image changes, the screen remains. When the film ends, the screen is still here. You are the same. Thoughts come, feelings come, memories surface and sink. You do not have to push them away. You do not have to believe them completely. You can let them move, the way clouds move across sky. This is letting go without losing what matters. You do not lose your history. You do not lose your care for others. You lose only the weight of thinking you are nothing more than the story you have been carrying. Sit with the question again. Who am I when I am not telling myself a story? Let it rest in the body. Let it breathe. The answer is not in words. It is in the quiet that holds them. You have probably noticed how hard it is to love something without also tightening around it. A relationship, a plan, a feeling of peace. The moment it matters, your hands close. You want to keep it safe. You want to make sure it stays. But then the thing you are holding begins to change shape. It becomes smaller, more fragile. Sometimes it disappears entirely, not because it left, but because you held it so tightly there was no room for it to be what it actually is. This is the problem. We do not know how to hold things lightly. There is a teaching that comes from the Zen tradition, quiet and clear. It says, hold everything as if you are already saying goodbye. This is how you truly meet it. At first, this sounds like loss. Like you are being asked to prepare for endings before they arrive. But that is not what the teaching points to. It is pointing to the way things are already moving, already changing, already whole, even as they shift. When you hold something as if you are saying goodbye, you stop trying to freeze it. You stop demanding that it stay exactly as it is. You meet it now, in this moment, without the weight of your future fear pressing down on it. Think of holding a butterfly. If your grip is too tight, you crush it. The wings crumple. The color fades. If your hold is too loose, barely there, it flies away before you even feel its presence. But if you hold it just right, with an open palm and steady attention, it rests. It stays because there is space. It stays because you are not forcing it to. This is what it means to hold lightly, not with indifference, not with distance, but with presence that does not cling. You can try this now if you like. Find a small object near you, a stone, a cup, a pen, something simple. Pick it up and hold it in your hand. Feel its weight. Notice the temperature. Is it cool or warm against your skin? Notice the texture, smooth or rough, hard or soft. Let your attention rest there on the contact between your hand and the object. Now notice your hand itself. Is it gripping? Is there tension in your fingers, your palm, your wrist? You do not need to change anything. Just notice. Breathe once, twice. Now, very slowly, set the object down. Place it on the surface in front of you. Let your hand open. Let your fingers release. Notice what happens in that moment of letting go. There may be a small sense of relief, a softness in your hand, a quiet exhale. Your hand is empty now. But nothing is lost. The object is still there. It has not disappeared. It was never yours to keep, and it was never separate from you either. It simply was, and is, resting in its own place. This is the practice. Not once, but again and again. Holding, noticing, releasing. You can do this with anything. A thought that loops in your mind. Hold it lightly, see it clearly, let it move. A person you love, meet them as they are, not as you need them to be. A moment of joy, feel it fully, without trying to stretch it into tomorrow. The relief comes not from holding on, but from the open palm, from the willingness to let things rest without force, from meeting what is here, as if you were always both arriving and saying goodbye. Your hand knows this already. It knows how to hold and how to release. It has done this 1,000 times. The rest of you can learn from it. There is a kind of faithfulness we practice that has nothing to do with love. It shows up in the things we refuse to release, even when they drain us. We stay with jobs that diminish us, relationships that repeat the same wounding pattern, beliefs about ourselves that were never true. And when someone asks why we remain, we reach for noble language. We call it loyalty. We call it commitment. We say we are being responsible, or kind, or strong. But beneath the words, if we are honest, there is often something else. There is fear. The Mahayana tradition offers a teaching that cuts through this confusion with unusual clarity. Loyalty to suffering is not virtue. It is confusion dressed as devotion. This is not about abandoning what we love. It is about recognizing the difference between staying because something nourishes us and staying because we are afraid of what leaving might mean. One is rooted in presence. The other is rooted in avoidance. Think of a rope tied to an anchor in shallow water. The anchor sits just below the surface. The water is clear. You can see the bottom. You could reach down, untie the rope, and walk away. But you do not. You stand there holding the line, calling it commitment. You tell yourself this is what it means to be steady, to be good, to not give up. But the anchor is not holding a ship safe in the storm. It is holding you in place when the tide has changed. This happens more often than we admit. We remain loyal to old stories about who we are supposed to be. We honor promises we made before we understood what they would cost. We stay faithful to versions of ourselves that no longer fit, because letting them go feels like betrayal. And so we carry what does not serve us, renaming the weight as duty. The confusion is subtle. It wears the clothes of virtue. It speaks in the voice of conscience. It says, if you let go, you are selfish. If you change, you are weak. If you walk away, you have failed. But these are not the words of wisdom. They are the words of fear, trying to keep you small. There is a practice that can help here. It is simple, but it requires honesty. Sit quietly for a moment, let your breath settle. And then ask yourself this question: what is one thing I remain loyal to, not out of love, but out of fear? Do not rush the answer. Let it come in its own time. It might be a relationship. It might be a way of working. It might be an image of who you think you need to be. It might be a habit of thinking that keeps you safe from risk, but also from aliveness. When the answer arrives, do not judge it. Do not push it away. Just name it clearly. Say it to yourself quietly, as if you are meeting it for the first time. This is where I have been loyal to suffering. Notice what happens in your body when you name it. Notice if there is tightness or heat or a pulling away. Notice if there is also relief. Sometimes the simple act of naming what we have been carrying in silence allows us to see it differently. The weight does not disappear, but it becomes visible. And what is visible can be examined. You do not need to let go right now. You do not need to make a decision or take action. You only need to see clearly, to recognize where fear has been guiding you while wearing the mask of devotion. Because once you see it, something shifts. The rope is still in your hand, but you know now that you are holding it. You are not tied to it. The anchor is still there, but you can see the shallow water. You can see that the ground beneath is solid, that you could stand on your own. And in that seeing, there is the beginning of freedom. You may have noticed that when you try to let go of something, the effort itself becomes another weight. You grip harder in the attempt to release. You think about not thinking. You work at resting. And the thing you wanted to drop stays close, like a shadow you cannot outrun. This is not a failure. It is simply what happens when we misunderstand what letting go means. We imagine it as a task, something to accomplish, a skill to master through repetition and force. But the Buddha pointed to something quieter. He suggested that peace is not found by rearranging the pieces. It is found by resting in the space that holds them all. Not by solving, not by fixing, by resting. The sky does not push clouds away. It does not pull them close. It simply holds them. A storm passes through, dark and heavy, and the sky remains. A clear morning arrives, bright and still, and the sky remains. The sky does not prefer one over the other. It does not tighten around what it likes or resist what it does not. It is vast enough to allow everything. You are like this sky. Not the clouds, not the weather. The space itself. When a thought arises, you do not have to push it away. When a feeling moves through, you do not have to hold it or solve it. You can simply notice that there is room for it. There is space. The thought comes, the thought goes, and you remain. This is equanimity. Not indifference, not coldness, just a quiet willingness to let things be as they are without adding pressure. You might try this now or later when you are lying down in a place where you will not be disturbed. Close your eyes if that feels comfortable. Let your body settle into the surface beneath you. Notice the weight of your head, your shoulders, your legs. You do not have to make anything happen. You are simply here. Now imagine that you are not the body, but the space around it, the room itself, the air, the stillness that holds everything. A thought will come. It always does. Let it. Watch it arrive like a cloud drifting across the sky. You do not have to follow it. You do not have to argue with it. You are the sky. The thought is weather. It moves. You remain. Another thought may come, a memory, a worry, a plan. Let it pass through. You are not trying to empty the sky. You are simply noticing that the sky is large enough to hold whatever appears. If a feeling arises, heaviness or tightness or restlessness, let it be weather too. It has a shape. It has a texture. But it is not you. It is something moving through the space you are. You do not have to fix it. You do not have to understand it. You can rest while it is here. This is the practice. Not effort, not control, just resting in the space that holds everything. At first you may forget. You may get pulled into a thought and believe it is solid. You may tighten around a feeling and think you have to do something about it. This is natural. When you notice, you have not failed. You have simply woken up again. You return to the sky. You return to the space. The more you rest here, the more you see that letting go is not something you do. It is what happens when you stop holding on, when you stop trying to rearrange the weather, when you allow yourself to be the stillness that was here all along. You do not lose what matters by resting this way. You see more clearly what was always true. Thoughts come and go, feelings rise and fall, and you remain, spacious, steady, aware. This is enough. There is a strange knot in caring. We water the plant, we check on a friend, we tend to something we love, and then we begin to watch it. We measure its response. We look for proof that our care is working. We want the flower to stay in bloom. We want the person to feel better because we helped. We want evidence that what we gave mattered. This is where caring becomes claiming. It happens so quietly. One moment you are offering something freely. The next moment you are leaning in, waiting, hoping for a particular result. The care is still real. But now there is a hook in it. You have become attached not just to the thing you care for, but to the outcome of your caring. The old teachers noticed this. They watched how we grip what we love. They saw that we do not know how to hold something lightly, so they offered a simple image. The gardener tends the garden but does not own the flowers. They bloom and fade in their own time. The gardener waters. The gardener pulls weeds. The gardener watches the light and adjusts what needs adjusting. But the gardener does not follow the flower around, demanding it, stay open. The gardener does not take it personally when the bloom fades. The flower has its own life. It moves according to conditions the gardener cannot control. This is not indifference. The gardener still cares. The work is still real. But the caring does not come with a claim. You can feel this in your own hands. Imagine watering a plant. You lift the can. You pour slowly near the roots. You set the can down. You walk away. You do not stand there asking the plant to grow faster. You do not return an hour later to see if it looks different. You gave what you could give. The rest is not yours to manage. This is tending without possessing. It feels different in the body. There is care, but no tightness. There is attention, but no demand. You are not waiting for the plant to prove that you are a good gardener. You are simply doing what is yours to do. Now bring this to a person. You listen to someone who is struggling. You offer what you can. A kind word, your presence, a small gesture. And then the question comes, did it help? Did they feel better? Did I do enough? Notice what happens in the chest when you ask this. There is a pulling inward, a need to know. A need for your care to have landed in a certain way. But people, like flowers, have their own conditions. They bloom and fade according to forces you cannot see. Your care is real. It matters. But it is not a tool for controlling their experience. It is simply what you offered. What happens next is not yours to own. This does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop adding weight to the caring. You stop turning it into a transaction. You let it be what it is. One small movement of attention, given freely, and then released. The practice is very simple. Today, do one small act of care for something or someone. Water a plant. Send a kind message. Hold the door. Pick up something someone dropped. Do it with full attention. Then walk away. Do not check the outcome. Do not look for a response. Do not measure whether it worked. Just tend and let go. You will feel the urge to follow up. The mind will want to know. Did the plant perk up? Did the person write back? Did it matter? Let the urge be there. You do not have to act on it. You can notice the pull without following it. This is where the freedom lives. Not in stopping care, but in stopping the claim. You can love something without needing to control what happens to it. You can give something without needing proof that it was received in a particular way. The flowers bloom. The flowers fade. You keep watering. This is enough. There is a kind of grief we carry when we let something go. Not only the sadness of loss, but something sharper. A quiet fear that if we stop holding on, it means we never really cared. That release is the same as abandonment. That love requires possession. You may have felt this when someone moved away, when a relationship changed form, when you had to step back from something you once gave everything to. The mind whispers, if you truly loved this, you would fight harder. You would never let go. But there is another way to see it. In the Mahayana tradition, there is a teaching that the deepest love is not in holding on, but in honoring what is, even as it changes. This is not indifference. It is not cold detachment. It is something warmer. It is the willingness to let life move as it moves and to meet it with care rather than control. Imagine a parent standing at the edge of a driveway watching their child walk away. Maybe the child is leaving for school or leaving home entirely. The parent does not chase, does not call the child back, does not collapse in despair. There is sadness, yes. There is longing. But there is also love. A love that does not need the child to stay in order to remain real. The parent knows something. That love is not the same as nearness. That caring does not require keeping. The form of the relationship shifts, but the care itself does not vanish. It changes shape. It becomes something quieter, something that can hold both presence and absence at once. This is what we often miss. We think letting go means we stop caring. But letting go can be an act of profound compassion. It can mean we care enough to allow things to be what they are, rather than what we wish them to be. You can feel this in your own life. Bring to mind someone or something you have released. Not something you abandoned in anger or fear, but something you let go of with awareness. Maybe a friendship that faded, a dream that no longer fit, a version of yourself you had to leave behind. Notice what is still there, not the form, not the daily presence, but the care itself, the tenderness, the quiet wish for their well-being, even from a distance, even in silence. This is the insight, that release and love are not opposites, that you can honor what was and what is without clinging to what cannot stay. The clinging comes from fear. Fear that if we are not holding tightly, we will lose everything. Fear that love is fragile, that it needs our constant effort to survive. But love is not so small. It does not collapse the moment we open our hands. Compassion does not mean keeping everything close. It means meeting life as it unfolds. It means allowing others their own path, their own choices, their own becoming. It means trusting that care can exist even when the shape of connection changes. You do not have to force this understanding. You do not have to believe it all at once. Just notice. Notice that you have let things go before, and the care did not disappear. Notice that you can wish someone well even if you are no longer in their daily life. Notice that you can honor what mattered without needing it to stay the same. This is not about letting go of everything. It is not about becoming someone who does not feel loss. You will still grieve. You will still miss what has passed. But you do not have to carry the belief that letting go erases love. The parent at the driveway feels the ache, feels the empty space where the child once stood, but the love does not leave. It simply becomes something that can hold distance, something that can bless rather than bind. You can practice this now, quietly, without pressure. Think of something you have released. Feel the care that remains, not as a memory, not as a story, but as a living presence in your chest. A warmth that does not need the other person to be near in order to exist. This is what it means to let go without losing what matters. The form changes, the connection shifts, but the love itself is not so easily lost. We return now to the breath and to the body resting where it is. Not because we have solved something, but because this is where life continues to unfold. Letting go has never meant becoming empty of care. It has meant learning to hold what matters with open hands. The people you love, the work that calls you, the small rituals that give shape to your days, none of this disappears when you stop clinging. What changes is the quality of your presence with them. You begin to meet each moment as it actually is, rather than as you fear it might end. This is not a skill you master once. It is a returning. You will forget. You will tighten again around what you treasure. You will catch yourself mid-grasp, fingers wrapped around an outcome, a person, a version of yourself that no longer fits. And in that catching, there is no failure. There is only the quiet opportunity to soften again. Impermanence is not the enemy of love, it is love's context. Everything you cherish is here for a time, and that time is not guaranteed. This truth does not make your care less real. It makes it more immediate. The warmth of someone's voice on the phone, the way light falls through a window in the late afternoon, the taste of water when you are truly thirsty. These moments do not need to last forever to matter completely. When you stop demanding permanence, you stop living at a distance from your own life. You stop waiting for the conditions to be perfect before you allow yourself to be here. The fear of loss begins to lose its grip, not because you have stopped caring, but because you have stopped confusing love with control. What you practice is this: noticing when you have drifted into grasping and gently returning to presence. Noticing when you have armored yourself against change and softening just enough to let life touch you again. This is not about becoming invulnerable. It is about becoming responsive, tender even in the face of what cannot be held. The breath continues. It has been here all along, rising and falling without your management. The body continues, sensing and adjusting, meeting the world directly. You do not have to orchestrate any of this. You only have to stop interfering with what is already happening. Gratitude arises naturally when you stop resisting impermanence. Not the forced gratitude of positive thinking, but the quiet recognition that this moment, exactly as it is, will not come again. The people in your life are here now. The light is this particular color now. Your own aliveness, with all its aches and confusions, is present now. Nothing about this is guaranteed, and that is precisely why it matters. You do not need to cling to make something precious. You only need to see it clearly. As we come to rest here, there is nothing you need to carry forward except your own willingness to return. Return to the breath when you are lost. Return to the body when you are spinning. Return to this simple question: what is here right now that does not require my resistance? The practice continues in the next moment and the next, not as a burden, but as a refuge, a way of meeting life that does not depend on everything going as planned. If you would like to continue sitting with these reflections, there are other offerings here that explore the same ground from different angles. But there is no urgency. What matters is already present. What you need to remember, you will remember when the time comes. For now, let the body settle. Let the breath move as it moves. Let the mind rest in the spaciousness that has always been here underneath the grasping. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your willingness to sit with what is difficult and what is tender. The path is not somewhere else. It is here, in this returning again and again to what is. Rest well.